Welcome to the Ancient Echoes podcast. I'm your host, Jarek Canning. So, for thousands of years, humans have searched for meaning. We have built temples, written sacred books, started movements, and fought wars over belief. But where do these beliefs and ideas come from? Who shaped them? And how have they changed over time? In this podcast episode, we explore history behind the world's most powerful beliefs, from ancient civilizations to the rise of Christianity to modern churches that influence millions of people today. Each episode uncovers the moments, the people, and the events that shape religion history. Not through rumors or assumptions, but through history, evidence, and context. Because when we understand the past, we understand the present. This is the Ancient Echoes podcast, and the past is still speaking. And I'm your host, Jarek Canning. The title of this episode is Why Humans Experience God, the psychology behind religious experiences. So I hope this is helpful. Let's go back thousands of years, long before Christianity, long before Islam, long before modern religions. In ancient cultures around the world, people described spiritual encounters. In ancient Greece, Argos reported visions from God. In India, Hindu mystics describe union with divine consciousness. In ancient Jewish traditions, prophets reported hearing God's voice. And we have people that still claim they hear God's voice today, like a family member of mine. In indigenous cultures across the Americans, shamans entered the trace states and communicated with spirits. Different cultures, different gods, different religions. But something fantastic appears again and again. The experience sounds incredibly similar. People describe feeling a presence, feeling touched, feeling overwhelming love or peace, seeing visions, feeling connected to something greater than themselves. Across continents, across centuries, across completely different religions, the experiences are often nearly identical. The exploration changes, but the experience remains the same. And that observation led many researchers to ask a very interesting question. What if these experiences aren't unique to one religion? What if they are connected to how the human brain works? What if? That's a possibility, right? Over the last few decades, neuroscientists have studied what happens in the brain during religious or mythical experiences. What they found out was fascinating. When people pray deeply, meditate, or enter intense emotional worship, certain parts of the brain become highly active. One of those religions or regions is called temporal lobe. The temporal lobe plays a major role in emotion, memory, meaning, and perception of presence. When this area becomes highly stimulated, people sometimes report something interesting. They feel like someone else is there, even if nobody else is physically present. Researchers call this presence experience. Present experience. It's a feeling that another being is nearby. Some people interpret it as God. Some people interpret it as angels. Others interpret it as spirits and ancestors. But neurologically, the experience appears to come from specific brain activity. In fact, scientists discover something fascinating. If they gently stimulate certain areas of the brain, people can experience the exact same sensations: feeling a presence, feeling touched, feeling watched, feeling guided. The brain is capable of producing these sensations on its own. And that discovery opened an entirely new field of research called the neuroscience of religion. The God helmet. One of the most famous experiments in this field involved a device known as the God helmet. This device was developed by neuroscientist Michael Perger. The helmet used weak magnetic fields to stimulate parts of the brain, particularly the temporal lobes. But participants would sit quietly in a dark room wearing the helmet, and many of them reported something remarkable. They said they felt a presence in the room, said they felt like someone was standing behind them. Others said they felt like spiritual being was touching them. Some religious participants even said they felt the presence of God, but there was no one in the room. The sensation came from the brain stimulation. Now, this doesn't prove or disprove religion, but it demonstrates something important. The human brain is capable of producing very powerful spiritual sensations, even without external supernatural cause. Anthropologists studying religion have also noticed something interesting. Across the world, religions often use very similar methods to produce mythical experiences, different beliefs, different gods, but very similar techniques. For example, many religions use chatter repetition. Buddhist monks chat mantras. Sufi Muslims repeat the name of God. Catholic monks sing Gregorian chants. Pentecostal Christians repeat prayer phrases and they sing worship song over and over the chorus. Repetition changes brain wave patterns and lead to trance states. Another common technique is rhythmic music and movement, drumming, dancing, singing. These rhythmic patterns synchronize the brain activity and increases emotional intensity. Another method is fasting or isolation. Many prophets and mystics reported their experience after long periods of fasting or solitude. And finally, there's expectation. When someone strongly believes they will encounter the divine, their brain becomes more sensitive to interpreting sensations as spiritual. Across cultures, these methods appear again and again, and they often produce similar experiences. Psychologists studying these experiences have identified several common triggers: repetition, music, isolation, expectation, physical stress, group reinforcement. When several of these factors combine, people are much more likely to experience what psychologists call altered states of consciousness. In these states, people can fear unity with the universe, overwhelming peace, a sense of sacred presence, or profound insight. These experiences can feel incredibly meaningful, and for many people, they are among the most powerful moments of their lives. But they appear across many different religions, which raises to the important question: if Christians experience the Holy Spirit, Hindus experience divine union, Buddhists experience enlightenment, and Sufi Muslims experience unity with Allah, are these different supernatural events, or could they be different interpretations of similar brain states? Modern neuroscientists isn't trying to attack religion. Instead, it's trying to understand something fundamental about the human nature, why humans are drawn to spirituality, why mystic experiences appear across cultures, why those experiences feel so deeply meaningful. Researchers have discovered that during mystical experiences, parts of the brain involved in self identity and ego boundaries become quieter. This can create the sensation of losing oneself and become part of something larger. Other areas relate to emotional become highly active, which produces feelings of love, awe, and significance. In other words, mystical experiences appear to involve specific patterns of brain activity, and humans across cultures seem capable of entering those states. For thousands of years, I believe they encountered the divine. People have felt touched by God. People have heard voices and people have seen visions. People have felt overwhelming peace and love. And the people experiencing them, these moments can feel absolutely real. But modern science is beginning to show that the human brain itself may be capable of producing these powerful experiences. That doesn't necessarily answer the ultimate question about the existence of God, but does reveal something fascinating. The human brain is wired in ways that allow us to experience profound states of meaning, unity, and transcendence across cultures, across religions, and across history. And in the next episode of Ancient Echoes, we're going to explore something even more fascinating: why religious beliefs change over time, and how cultures reshape religion to survive in new environments. This is the Ancient Echoes podcast. I'm your host, Jared Canning. If you like my content, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on YouTube. Have a good night.